Baby.
All right. Hey, all right.
It.
We're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You know me. I'm Tripp, and this is my buddy Ryan Harb, and we're going to talk about some conspiracy theories.
All right.
See what gets the questions taken in the first place. But first, since we're going down this conspiracy theory thing, let me hear your thoughts on why filters on cigarettes were mandated by the government.
You know what? That's a great question.
Keep the people away from getting the valuable vitamins and nutrients that are naturally in tobacco.
Well, you know, it's funny. Well, thanks first off for having me on. This is great. I'm really excited to be here. You know, it's funny how like tobacco was like an essential like crop. Like tobacco and hemp was like what everybody grew, right? And then all of a sudden they started throwing all the shit in it. So it's like, what is the purpose? So like, give me tobacco, let me smoke it, but then you're going to put a filter on because there's so much shit that you're putting into it for what? For longer shelf life, for whatever it is. So it's very interesting to see how the tobacco industry came in so fast, you know?
Well, one of the other things I kind of think is funny about it is like way back in the day, back when Mexico was part of Spain, if you were found with tobacco seeds and you didn't have a license from the government to have those tobacco seeds, that was a capital offense and they would fucking kill you on the spot for having it.
So was the government involved in the selling of tobacco?
The Spanish government back then, yeah. But they were also making fucking hella money off of it because the only place you can get tobacco, the only people you can get tobacco from in Europe was the Spaniards. So they had the monopoly on it. And it's like, well, we don't want England or France or whatever country Germany is pretending to be right now to fucking get this shit. Like all this money's got to come to us.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, I guess at some point, like you have like basically your one crop that's keeping your economy going, and that's natural to your place. I mean, it's crazy. So give me the insight. What's the situation with the filters? Why did it happen? Where did it go?
Oh no, I was just poking the bear. See if you had anything for that
one. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy to see how much people used to smoke too, and how much smoking has not like gone away, but has just been so like. I mean, like when we were like, yeah, like I mean, if you've never watched Mad Men, it's like one of the greatest shows of all time, right? It's all about the advertising world.
They were actually working at Lucky Strike, weren't they?
They were. I think it was one of their accounts was Lucky Strike, and it's like crazy just to see like because Mad Men's about like people in the advertising world, but really it's about the evolution of time.
Yeah,
from basically the mid 50s to the early 70s, and it's crazy just to see how much people smoked and how much people drank all day. Like you just kind of like are drinking whiskey and smoking all day all the time, and like just like women were just very like, nope, you're a secretary, that's it. And like the one chick who's pretty big now because of that show, like her like breaking the walls down and changing the way it's a fascinating show because it's not just about advertising, it's about like the evolution of like the business world. But man, people used to smoke so much fucking cigarettes. It was
smoking was healthy until like the 70s, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you'd be like at the doctor's office, and like the doc would be smoking in the room with you, like babies being delivered, and they're just like, all right, here we go. I can see the head crown. He's like, hold on, I just got to light my smoke real quick before I deliver the baby for you. Yeah. Like, what are you doing, man?
There was this guy. While I was in the Marines, he was our battalion sergeant major, and I want to say like 2 years before I got there, he got in this fucking horrendous motorcycle accident. Like, he didn't have any bones in his legs anymore. They were all replaced with like steel or whatever you replace bones with after that.
Adamantium, right?
Yeah. Well, we called him Wolverine. But he also smoked about 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and he was the fastest runner in the battalion. So like out of 1,000 dudes, this 15-year-old dude is running with a bunch of 18-year-olds, just smoking them, getting done and like smoking 4 cigarettes at the same time. Like
there's like a weird world like where like you smoke so much that your body just becomes like available to utilize that. And if you actually stop smoking, your whole body like shuts down because it doesn't know how to like react without all this nicotine coming in. Like,
well, there was that woman, she died, I think in the early 2000s. She was the oldest person to be the oldest person to live documented, right? She was like 120 something years old. Old French woman. They're like, what do you do to stay alive? She's like, well, I drink a bottle of wine every day and smoke a pack of cigarettes. And it's like,
there's probably some science behind that. I don't know what it is. Your liver is probably screaming, but like, hey, take that milk thistle, right? You'll be good.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, do you ever listen to Motorhead?
Yeah.
So Lemmy from Motorhead, I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s, he decided that he wanted to, stop doing speed and drinking and smoking all the time. And
why you make such good music that way?
Well, yeah, no, but like his thing was like, hey dude, I have enough money to just get like new blood. Let me go do that. So
what's with the new blood thing? That's crazy shit that they can do that.
Yeah, but anyway, he goes to a doctor and they have to sample his blood first to make sure it's whatever. And they took a sample of his blood, did the analysis on it. He's like, they're like, hey, listen, your blood is so toxic that if you ever get into a car accident and we have to give you a pint of donor blood, the clean blood will kill you. Don't stop. So the dude like drank a bottle of Jack Daniels, smoked like a fiend, did speed every day of his life until 2 days before he died.
It's like when you your transmission oil is like over a certain amount, and they're like, no, don't change it because it's actually clogging the holes, and if you get rid of it, it'll like open up all these valves that shouldn't be open. I mean, but like the guy from Rolling Stones is the same way, right? Like the guitarist has done like so much shit, and he's got like 5 transplants or some shit, or is that just rock and roll myth?
That's different. Do you know what the 27 Club is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't that are watching or listening later, the 27 Club is all these celebrities that die when they're 27 years old.
Yeah, it's like Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain,
Jim Morrison. Yeah, all of them. But anyway, if you look at them, most of those people started dying after Keith Richards was already famous. I think when you turn 27, you have the certain stuff right with you. Keith Richards just fucking eats you.
They serve you to Keith Richards so he can play music. I mean, what's crazy about that, the Rolling Stones shit too, is that first off, Mick Jagger just had like a kid, like at like 76 or whatever the hell however old he is.
Yeah, and his wife was probably 20. So like,
yeah, his wife is like his great. He like married he had the kid with like his granddaughter, which is like so ridiculous. But hey, whatever, do what you gotta do.
Far enough apart.
But the crazy thing is that they say that on stage that he walks and runs around so much that he literally runs like 6 miles like during a concert from just going back and forth and running around on the fucking stage.
Well, staying in shape is like one of the reasons people live longer, because if you just like sit down all the time, you're not used to it. Like think about it. Like when you get old and die, you don't just fall over, you just get slower. So if you're starting here,
you don't have
too far to go. But like say if you're Mick Jagger and you're up here all the time, by the time you're fucking 90, you're still above.
Oh my god, absolutely. I mean, look at like when you see like the little old ladies like walking around like with their walkers and they're like hunched over, and you're just like, look, I understand you're old and the situation sucks, but like yoga goes a long way if you just slowly do yoga. Like it brings your body back to life. It's crazy shit.
And it's not super high intensity either. Like you can just do that in the morning, like before breakfast for like 45 minutes.
You can start slow. Just do baby yoga. Just do like child's pose. Like child's pose is the greatest thing of all time. Like,
which one's that?
That's when you lay like with your legs and you lean like forward on the ground.
Okay.
And that's all it is. Like kind of like your legs are like in a butterfly, but like you're laying straight out.
Yeah, the only one I know or do a whole lot is what is it? The Cobra stretches your back.
Cobra's good, and then you go into Sphinx too, right?
That's like
Sphinx is like your arms are down like the Sphinx, and then the Cobra's just like with your arms like all the way.
Yeah. That's the Cobra's really good for your back if your back's all fucked
up. And then if you get into that, what you can do is you can go into like a I think it's called a supine, where you can kind of like twist, right? And you come this way, and you can do the Cobra and twist. It's great. It opens up like all this stuff behind you and just really gets all that astro plane off of you from coming back into the reality.
What is it? Ronnie saying Henry Rollins said that's why he used to run and lift weights so he'd be ready to play on stage for 300 days at a time, which fucking Henry Rollins is a beast too, because like a lot of times like he'd be like, hey, I'm on tour, I can't work out, might as well do it on stage and just like make it part of the fucking show. That dude was a fucking madman.
Love Henry Rollins. So like I got into a lot of Rollins like spoken word stuff like the comedy spoken word he was doing, basically just telling stories of all the crazy shit they were doing. And he's telling this story about how they were in like Brazil, and it was like this huge like Lollapalooza, like Woodstock kind of show in the middle, and they were like so hyped up to play. I think they were like the third to last show, or guys to go on. So everyone's like ready to see Rollins band, and they go up on stage, and he's like, "Are you ready?" Yeah, and then he goes to like start like rocking out, and he throws a knee and hits himself in the middle of the forehead and knocks himself out clean.
Ouch.
Cold on the stage, out cold.
I mean, good for him.
He wakes up, he's like, someone hit me, I'm in a fight, who hit me, where, what is and everybody's just like, did this motherfucker just knock himself out?
Yeah, so like I didn't really like Black Flag that much, but I loved Henry Rollins solo stuff. Like that album he had, Wait, I think that's one of the best albums ever fucking made.
Yeah, I mean that what's that video that when we were kids that came out? The liar, right?
Yeah,
like, Liar was so ridiculous.
Well, like at the end of it, he's just like dressed like the devil, just like
he's fucking crazy. And then he was all over the place for a long time, and he was doing tons of like acting and stuff too. And he would just like show up in like movies and stuff. It was wacky.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a movie? I guess this kind of goes into the main subject though. But have you ever seen a movie called He Never Died?
He Never Died. No, I don't know that one.
It's Henry Rollins movie, and it's just him, and he's like walking around town, going to the diner and getting like eggplant parmesan, just trying to be, under the table, low key guy. And then like his daughter that he didn't know he had got kidnapped, and he like really didn't care. And like at that point in the movie, you're like, oh, he's kind of a shitbag, doesn't care that the daughter didn't have got kidnapped, whatever. And then it turns out she got kidnapped by the mob because they wanted him for some reason. And he ends up kind of going on this little bit of an adventure with the waitress at the diner. And then one night they come back from like a walk because they're like he's like trying to start dating her or whatever. And there's a bunch of mob dudes there. And then he's like, hey, listen, go in the bathroom and like hide. And then like she goes in the bathroom and hide, and she hears all these gunshots and comes back out, and he's all shot up and everybody else is dead. And she's freaking out. And they go back to the car, and he like gets her tool bag out and gets these pair of pliers, starts pulling these bullets out of his head. And later it turns out that he's actually Kane, and the Kane's curse was he's never going to die. And so it goes in this, and that's like a quarter of the way through the movie. So it's
like a thriller horror. I was just looking at some stuff online here too. It looks like he's like an angel or something too. So
yeah. And it's cool because there's another thing in it. It doesn't ever tell you if it's an angel or if it's God or whatever, but there's this like creepy dude in the background in like half the scenes, like just watching him, and like he doesn't always notice him, or it doesn't lead you to think that he always notices him, but sometimes he does, and it's like it's a creepy old guy watching him.
That's good. So like you're trying to like pay attention to like when that guy is there. It's kind of like the Haunting of Hill House. You've seen that with Netflix, where they got like the house that's haunted, and there's always ghosts like in the background all the time.
Yeah,
that's an amazing one.
I didn't like how they ended that, but it was good right up until then.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, they're gonna do it kind of like American Horror Story, where everyone is like a different like 10, 12 episodes. And they have a new one coming out, and it's based off an old haunted house in like the 1800s, and they're redoing that. It's like Berkeley Hill or something like that. Yeah. So they're kind of doing that thing where like they get the new cast, new story, but kind of have that same flow and feel. So
yeah, that one episode though, I don't remember if it was the second from last or like the third from the last, but it was the episode that was like before all of it, and it was like the mom's story right when they moved in.
Yeah,
that episode by itself could have just been its own like mini movie.
It's really creepy. It's what I really love about that show is it's very well directed.
Yeah,
and the cinematography is excellent too, and it's got kind of this really nice feel, and they do a nice job. I think the writing is really well, because you kind of, even though there's so many main characters, you kind of care about all of them, and especially the more that you get, and especially with all the broken neck lady stuff and all that, it's a creepy show. They did a nice job with it.
I do wish with the bent neck lady they did like maybe 2 more minutes of that. Not so much in the buildup, but like at the end of it, like when you finally figure out who she is.
Yeah, they're flipping through all the reoccurrences.
Yeah,
and all that.
And it gives you like 4 seconds to like figure it out, and then it moves on. It's like,
yeah, and you're like,
I did it, but like, could you give me just like a little bit more?
All right, and that's a cool concept of like this whole like time is parallel, and we're all in the same thing, because you're seeing yourself and then you're figuring it out. It's this weird, complex, Pandora's box kind of thing going on.
Did you ever see a show called The Good Place?
Oh, I know about that one. That is on the list of stuff, and I hear it's another one that's totally excellent.
Okay, so I won't ruin it for you, but there is one part in it. It's not integral to the plot at all, but it turns out that the time space continuum isn't linear or like a bowl or like even like infinite or whatever. But they have a name for it. It's like Piggly Wiggly or some shit like that. And they're like, why is the time space continuum called Piggly Wiggly? And it's like, well, humans see life or the time space continuum in a straight line. Time actually does this, and it kind of looks like somebody's writing Piggly Wiggly. And then it's not Piggly Wiggly, it's some name that sounds absurd like that, and so looks like a cursive signing with like a bunch of calligraphy around it, and then there's like a dot over like the eye, and somebody's like, wait a minute, what's the eye there? And it's like, oh, that's always there. Sometimes it's not. It takes a lot to understand the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, they did a nice job. I hear it's like there's a lot of great cameos in that show too. But it's crazy to think about that, right? Like, I think this everybody is what happens. I think we all learned from Event Horizon that the quickest, point from one spot to the other is just fold a piece of paper in half, and then you end up on a demon ship in another dimension.
So a lot of people learn that there. I learned that in an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, well, one of the best. And I don't know if you've experienced Batman the Animated Series remastered in HD. It's unbelievable.
No, but I do have the Mask of the Phantasm on Blu-ray, and that is fucking great.
Is that not such a great one? It really is.
You don't give a fuck what anybody says.
And you know what? They did a nice job with Batman Beyond, like right after it too. And that was really great. And it's it's funny, like talking about the superhero stuff. Like it's just so like out of like the normal reality for like that to actually happen. To have like, I mean, obviously we know the difference between superheroes and crime fighters, right? So Batman is a crime fighter. He doesn't really have like abilities, but
right.
The fact that like there's a rich guy. Let's think about this, right? There's a rich guy that's bored, right? Iron Man too, right? So there's like these rich guys that are just so rich and like so not involved in the day-to-day operations of the multi-billion-dollar businesses that they're running, that they're like, at night, I want to go out and I want to get my ass beat by people, but I also just want to run around in the city and go to bed at 5 o'clock. I'm like, I don't understand like what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish here, Batman.
Well, what I don't understand is what the fuck is Elon Musk doing? Like, dude, you've got the material, you got the money.
Dude, that's a great point. Like, if there's anybody that could be like an international crime fighter, it could be Elon Musk. I mean, the guy could have a flamethrower. We already know he's got that, right? So he's just like fire guy or whatever the fuck he wants to be. But he could totally make jetpacks based on like, not fire, but he's like, oh, I figured out like put a bunch of magnets together, it creates like a magnetic pulse, and I can just fly around with a jetpack and then what? And then just like fly down the streets and hope that somebody's getting mugged down an alley and save them. Like, what?
Well, I mean, it all does come down to chance, because like in the Batman comics, a lot of the old ones, Batman wasn't like a known thing. Like Batman was kind of like the boogeyman, where it was like, hey, you better be careful or the Batman's gonna get you. And they'd be like, oh yeah, okay, because the Batman's real, right? And then their face gets shoved into a wall or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part about the Batman. But like, and then you go into the other world, right? It's like he creates his own villains, because if there is no Batman, then there is no bad guys that are trying to do things because they don't want to get caught by the Batman.
Yeah,
that's always a great concept.
Did you ever read the Elseworld series?
That's crazy shit too.
Did you read what is it, Castle of the Bat?
I don't know. I didn't read that one.
So
yeah,
it takes place in Gotham in, I want to say, the 1880s, and Bruce Wayne isn't a kid. He's coming back from like spring break or something from college, and he goes to the opera with his parents, and a guy comes out, kills his mom, shoots the dad, and then runs off. Now Bruce Wayne is engineer or some shit. Mom's dead, sorry, can't do anything about it. Takes his dad back home, Frankensteins them back together, and Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, but he's like got like Frankenstein super strength.
I saw that. There's a couple things too, like right where Bruce gets killed and the mom gets killed, and Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, just like in regular Gotham as well.
Yeah, there's another one. I forget what it's called, but yeah, Bruce gets killed, but Thomas becomes Batman, but then Martha becomes the Joker.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it gets deep.
Oh, so he's making her become because the kid's dead.
Yeah, and like she goes insane and just starts fucking jokering shit.
Oh, I
And
did not know that. That's
yeah,
all. Is that like Flashpoint stuff too, right? All that
I
crazy
think it's
piece
one
of
of them.
shit.
Yeah,
Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't know that she became the Joker. That's
yeah.
as
But there's like a million different timelines, so you know.
there is. I mean, it's crazy, and like it's just nuts to think that like someone would be in that world. I mean, there was that guy that was walking around like I think he was like Portland, right? That one dude that would like dress up with rubber mask and like try to fight people and shit.
Oh, like what, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I forget his name, but he would literally go around and try to like be a superhero, and it's like, dude,
I mean,
what are you
good for
doing?
him.
You're on foot. Like, what's the situation here?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on your neighborhood. I don't really know too much about, the day-to-day in Portland. But if you did that in like Detroit or Los Angeles, yeah, dude, you're down. You got it.
Yeah, like neighborhood watch, or Steve said that he has built some gear and will walk around at night by himself. I'm like, oh, great idea. Good luck.
Have you ever heard the other one where Bruce Wayne is just actually insane and all the bad guys are actually Alfred trying to like put like
awesome
purpose into fucking Bruce Wayne's life?
It's amazing. I mean, there's so much great stuff, and then they just announced the new the Batman, which is coming, which is going to be unbelievable because it's the guy who did the last two Planet of the Apes movies is directing it, and I think was involved in writing it too. And it's the guy from Twilight, but he's done so much stuff past Twilight that people don't realize. What's his name? I forget, but whatever.
Something Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
So, but he's been in like so many amazing movies. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, you did Twilight. Like, I get it, it's fine, whatever. But he's in so many great movies that people just kind of have to look past, all the craziness.
Well, I don't want to like really knock him for Twilight, and that's just because like I loved Tim Burton's Batman, right? And before that came out, what's the guy that played Batman in that?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael. Before that, like he was known for movies like Mr. Mom and like rom-coms and shit. And then it's like, do we really want this guy playing Batman? Yeah, fuck it. There's no one else to do it.
Exactly, same deal. And he's like a comedian, and it's like, what the hell are they casting this guy to do it? And it's like, look, let it go. Like it's going to be great.
And then before that, I don't know. Anyway, before Die Hard, they tried to get a bunch of people on that, and they couldn't get anybody to do it. And the only person they could get to do it was Bruce Willis. And before that, Bruce Willis was only known for a show called either Moonlighters or Moonlighting, and he pretty much played Ross from Friends type character. And then they're like, all right, well, fuck it, someone's got to do it.
That's what I'm saying. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, but sometimes those decisions are terrible as well. But I mean,
yeah, that's how we got a bunch of movies with fucking Hollywood Hulk Hogan in it.
Was a Suburban Commando, right? And shit.
Listen, I love Hulk Hogan, but not those movies.
Yes. Was he in like Three Ninjas and shit? Right? Was he like the bad guy or?
I think
Hulk Hogan movies. Well, they're doing a Hulk Hogan biopic, and it's being directed by Todd Phillips, and it's going to be Netflix only. Film.
Who's playing Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
Thor.
Really?
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth
I'm down. Are they going to get him to shave his head?
Oh, it's going to be the whole thing, dude. It's going to be more of like an inside to like how wrestling really is, right? And like behind the scenes where they're like, I'm going to kick your ass on Saturday and clear. And like, hey, you guys are coming over with the kids, right? We got the swim pool. Like, it's going to be a great time. Like, yeah, Bill, I'll see you then. But like when the cameras are on, they're like, tomorrow night, your ass is mine, boy. And then they're like, how's the wife? Good. She had the baby yet? Oh, no, a couple more days. We're really excited.
And like, we can talk shit about professional wrestling all you want, but at the end of the day, those guys are still fucking athletes.
Dude.
I am never going to be that fucking big.
Oh, you're talking to the wrong guy. I love it. I love wrestling. It's awesome.
Like, I haven't watched it forever, but like, I'll still fucking cheese down on.
Well, the old the Attitude Era stuff is great, but I mean, like, what's really good is that new the AEW, which is that new league with like Chris Jericho and all those guys, and it's excellent wrestling. Yeah, but it's crazy, man. I mean, like to see like where like the programming has gone with like Netflix and like people not having cable and having like they're only on cable, like that's it, and it's weird to see like how much influence like all these streaming networks are having on people now too. It's
well, I mean, the thing with that though is because cable's fucking bullshit. You know, like
I don't want to watch commercials. Like, have you had this situation happen? Like, so I have Hulu, right, and I pay the extra $2 or $3, and I don't get commercials. And I've gone to people's houses where they don't pay the money, and I've got to watch like a 2.5 minutes of commercials, and it's always the same like three commercials.
They don't change them either. They don't change them either. It's
what
like
is
3 minutes.
What is that? Dude, it's ridiculous. And I'm like, why, dude? I'm like, just pay the money. So like, I'm like immune to commercials because I don't see anything. I don't know products that are out there anymore because I just don't experience it. It's very weird.
And at least like YouTube has the fucking decency to let you skip it after 5 seconds. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? So I mean, like, there's a weird like generation of people that like are immune to ads, and then the other ones, and like how much the ads still like influence people to like buy things. Like it's strange.
Yeah, that's always a thing too, because like I'm still going to school right now, and there are people, in some of my classes that are, marketing students or whatever. It's like, dude, how does that even work nowadays? Because the majority of things I see that are advertisements immediately make me think I am never going to buy that because you fucking inconvenience me with wasting my time for doing this. The only thing it works on is movies every once in a while and Wendy's, because I will fucking go get a Baconator right now. I don't give a shit.
Well, here's the thing is like, so the marketing world is where I kind of live. And, part of it is that, data is the new currency. Yeah. So data is just so unbelievable. I mean, look at all the stuff that's going on. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch The Great Hack on Netflix, right? I mean, the amount of data touch points that people will be able to have in the next couple of years is like unbelievable. Everything is connected to everything, right? The other one is Millie Weaver just put out Shadowgate, which is a brand new documentary, just came out. She got arrested actually like 2 days before it was about to come out because they said that she had I think she got arrested for like burglary because she basically had classified information but had a bunch of whistleblowers that she was interviewing. It's basically like all the Snowden stuff that was going on, but in depth even more about how the manipulation of information is being utilized with the data that they're collecting.
What did you say her name was? Is Shadowgate by who?
Millie Weaver.
Millie Weaver. All right.
Yeah, Millennial. I think she goes by Millennial Millie.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, something like that happened with when Tom Clancy released The Hunt for Red October, the book. The fucking feds showed up and like, hey, listen, there's some stuff in this book we need to talk about.
Yeah, you got some declassified shit that you're not supposed to. You're declassifying classified information. Like that's why I always love like when like people in the military like write like books because of the. And this is a shameless plug for you, but at the same time, it is amazing to see because it's the intel and the information that is out there that civilians don't know. I mean, like, obviously we know how things work and we watch a lot of shit, but like when you're on the lines and you see shit, and you've been there for a long fucking time, it's great to kind of get that insight plus some fiction mixed in at the same time.
Well, the other thing with that though too is like people are like, well, hey, you're in the military, you know this, you know that. It's like, dude, look, the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. So far detached that they're not even on the same fucking body.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there's a reason that they keep people compartmentalized, right? Yeah. And only so many people know the information. I mean, it's kind of like when serial killer was building the hotels in Chicago during the World's Fair, right? And he was, what's his name? H.H. Holmes, right? Yeah. So Holmes was kind of decompartmentalizing everybody so no one knew the layout of this labyrinth that he was creating, right? Yeah. So like first off, it's like the 1850s or 1860s, whatever it is, and he's got retail on the bottom. So he's building retail stores on the bottom with a hotel on top, right? So he's bringing contractors in, and they would only build like a certain amount of the situation, and then he would just abruptly fire everybody, either not pay them or pay them and say thank you, no longer need it, goodbye, see you later, and then bring somebody else in the middle of the layout, so they didn't know all the shit that he was doing. I mean, he was gassing people. He was just like trap doors everywhere, throwing bodies into the basement, and then like then selling the cadavers to the schools that he was teaching at.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy shit, man.
No, but I was gonna say, like, That even goes down to like mundane shit to where it's like, oh, hey, look, if we're gonna have this company go raid a village, to look for weapons or drugs or whatever, we're gonna have another company just go walk out in the fucking desert for a week, so that everybody in the village is like, well, there's like a bunch of dudes just walking around the desert. What the fuck are they doing out there? So they go and try to figure that out. While you're the guy on the ground walking around the desert, you're like, why the fuck am I just walking around the fucking desert? There's nothing out here.
Yeah, it's like Spaceballs, right? You're coming to the desert, you're like, we ain't found shit.
You know what I love about that though is like that guy that said that was the same actor that was Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager. It's like, hey, wait a minute, that's the same guy.
Same guy.
He made it far.
Yeah, I mean it is crazy to see, like, and that no one really knows what's going on and how, and it's really weird now too, like how long stuff is taking to get declassified, and the stuff that is being declassified is not being pushed out to the public, right? Like during all this shit that's going on, all of a sudden we've got like, they're like, oh, okay, the public is extremely distracted by a virus that is whatever story they want to tell this week, right? And scare everybody out and destroy the economy, instead of having rules and regulations and saying, hey, people, if you don't feel safe, then don't go out. But if you do, here's what you need to do. We're not, allowing, I missed in the Constitution where the government has the ability to close private businesses, right? Yeah. So it's crazy to see that. And then like how like information is getting declassified and being put out at this point of panic, and everyone is very distracted, and they're like, oh, by the way, UFOs.
Well, yeah, what was it like last Pentagon announced that they have a task force to try to figure out what the fuck UFOs are, and no one gave a shit.
What the fuck, dude? You're just gonna throw that out in the middle of like June when it's like UFOs, and by the way, New Jersey's thinking about maybe opening and letting people eat outside, and people are like, oh, I'd like to eat outside. And you're like, no, UFOs, look, right here.
And what I love though is like some people are like, well, I mean, maybe that's just a distraction or whatever, or like maybe they misidentified something else. Like, all right, so you're telling me some F-18 pilots saw some shit, and we're like, I don't know what the fuck that is. They took it to their command, and then their command took it to the Pentagon, saying, we don't know what the fuck this is.
Can we talk about the guys that saw the UFO, which is fucking hilarious?
Yeah,
it's like a bunch of bros playing Call of Duty, and they're like, yo, oh shit. Yo, what the fuck is that? And like they're like on mic, and it's like they're like bleeping them out and shit, because they're like, oh shit, motherfucker, that's a UFO. And it's like, oh great, we got Bill and Dave, the two people that were like the worst people to see a fucking UFO. It's like ridiculous.
Well, the thing about that though, I guess goes back to what people don't know about the military is most people in the military are just fucking people.
Yeah,
it just happens they have a different job,
like
so,
yeah,
and
like people,
almost every pilot I've ever met was I like to say they had an idiot switch where they'd be like, bro, dude, what's up, man? You fucking chillaxing? How's it going, dude? Like, sorry, I don't have a house. I just kind of like live in a trailer down by the beach. It's lax, dude. And then it's like,
yo, breaking the fucking the sound barrier, yo. Oh, shit.
And then fucking something happens. They flick the idiot switch. All the retard goes out, and they're like, all right, hey, so this is Echo 6. Where Echo 6. How do you have the ability to turn this off?
Yeah, dude, we were trying to play cards with you last week, and you couldn't even fucking play cards and know what an ante up is, but you can go into Echo 6 mode. What the fuck is going on here? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like they're just throwing that out there out of nowhere. But it's like, that stuff has been declassified in other countries for a couple of years now, and I don't think that.
First, or is it Hungary? I don't know why I'm mixing those two countries up. But somebody in Europe.
I know Spain did it.
Okay.
Spain had done it. I think France did it. I think Hungary did it. I mean, there's a bunch of people that have declassified tons of UFO, right? But I mean, it's like, at what point do we get the chance to go back and see, like, okay, what really happened with Roswell, right? Was there like a little green man, or was it like the fact that the military had this technology from Project Paperclip when the Nazis came over and started NASA and JPL with all that shit, and then we get in all the JPL stuff, right? And then you're getting in all that occult Aleister Crowley shit and all the craziness. But like, at what point do they realize that maybe that was just technology? I mean, like, so I feel like that's why Space Force was created, because the administration came in and said, dude, why are we holding all this technology like under our belts? Like, yes, the stealth bomber is awesome, and when we made it in 1986, but if we have the opportunity to fly vehicles based on vibrational state or magnetic energy, like let's just start showing off that stuff.
Well, one of the things about that, so the stealth bomber specifically, also with aliens, this ties in, is the B2, the one that looks like a giant fucking boomerang. That was something we brought over with Paperclip, because the Nazis were building a plane that looked fucking a lot like that.
Did you ever see the breakdown where it's like a falcon and it looks basically the same shape as a falcon, like flying with its wings back and shit? It's crazy.
But anyway, so we've had some model of the B2 bomber since the fucking 50s. They weren't like flying missions and doing shit until like ass into fucking Vietnam, but they didn't get declassified till after Desert Storm. But one of the things I think is funny is a lot of UFO sightings are of, oh, hey, look, there's this giant boomerang looking wing flying around, and the government's like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck that is. And then people are like, oh, it must have been aliens or UFO. And then Desert Storm ends like, oh, by the way, we just ruined Iraq with this thing, right, guys? And then people are like, oh, it wasn't aliens, it was the Air Force. Got it.
Oh wait, no, we did that. That was our fault. My bad. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, I'm very excited to see the tech that's going to be coming out soon too, right? And the fact that they, I mean, do people not realize that the space station is literally the size of a football field, right? And that it's humongous, and like they basically go up there and so like what's going on? Is that like literally like something that you can, I guess, walk around on, right? And you just kind of looks like a ship from like a movie, and you're just kind of, they're taking sources from wherever, from the moon, and doing research. And then I don't know, that the whole spaceship thing is crazy because there's multiple countries that are all involved in the construction of that as well. And there's scientists from like all over the place that are classified level of X that can like stay up there. So that is a whole nother world that's hopefully we'll get some insight on.
One of the things I kind of thought was funny about that, and this isn't really too conspiracy-ish, I just kind of thought it was interesting. I was reading, this got me into it. I forget what their names were, but they were a set of twin brothers that were both astronauts, and they put one of them on the space station for a year, and let the other one down here to like measure what differences happened between them. But one of the things that came up in that, which I thought was neat, was all astronauts, no matter what fucking country you're from, you have to be fluent in conversational English and Russian.
Yeah, well, the Russian space program is like just as good, right? It's crazy. Like I mean, like there's a reason we were in like, there's a reason that we were in like competition with them. And the thing I think that, during that whole Cold War thing is the one thing that they lacked that we had was we had Stanley Kubrick and they did not.
I was going to say we had money. And they did.
Well, I mean, go back and watch 2001: A Space Odyssey in 4K and Ultra Blu-ray, and tell me that you don't think that they couldn't recreate whatever they did. I mean, the moon stuff is nuts, like the footprint and the shadows, and it's all. There's a lot of questions.
So I was watching a thing about that, and they were trying to go into the questioning on that, and they were saying that. Right, given the technology that was around back then, would have been possible to make that footage, but because of the way the lights worked in it, and the technology that was fucking available back then, it would have been cheaper to actually go to the moon than get the lighting right for it.
Well, they were saying too that like the if you wanted to look at the technology that they actually utilized to get them to the moon, it's the same as one of those like Hallmark cards that sings like "Happy Birthday." That's the amount of tech that was in that fucking thing that took them out of the universe.
Right. It's also huge and mostly manual. Like it's not like, they're just like pressing their thing.
No, there's no
stick shift. Like
there's no power steering or any lock brakes or any of that kind of shit going on.
Like that's why they had to have 3 fucking astronauts on it, was to fucking pull the wheel.
All right, so here we go. Ronnie said space station size is apparently roughly the size of 3 American houses as per PBS. Okay. So a little smaller, but still huge. Yeah. It's pretty big.
Also, like I'm supposed to have comments hop up on this, but it doesn't work. So I have another.
I just found out the comments were here, so I'm kind of reading them as we're going through. Like,
maybe if I.
Sean said, "Plandemic." Yeah, I mean, it feels like it is. I mean, it's very strange that everybody is just so political, and I don't want to go down the political route or talk any politics, but it is really weird how like everybody's just fighting with each other because so that the other person doesn't get a one up on everything instead of everybody like working together and figuring out like why is everyone in the Senate and in the Congress allowed to have a paycheck after April 1st to maybe not spend all this fake money that they're just printing to get everybody out of debt. Do you think it's a good idea to go on break right now? They're all on break for like 2 weeks during like all this shit going on. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, see, the thing with that though is like this is comparing ourselves to other countries a little bit, but like that fucking port that blew up in Beirut a couple weeks ago, the government had enough dignity to be like, hey, we can't fix this. Sorry, we fucked up. We all quit.
I saw that. Well, they all quit too because they all lost their fucking mind and they were running in the streets and they were like, it's great to see that. Like, France is notorious for that shit. France does not give a fuck and like they will kick people out all day. But what do you think about that Beirut thing? Like, there's a lot of weird shit. So they said it was like a fireworks factory that blew up or something.
So it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and they seized a ship that was running contraband and like threw all the shit into a warehouse that was right by the port.
Oh, I did see that, and it sat in like the tank sat there for like what 5-6 years or some shit like that.
And then like some people are like, well, how could anybody do that? And it's like, dude, I've been to that part of the world. They're not exactly known for being fucking proficient. So huge accident like that, I could totally believe that just because that part of the world is just fucking incompetent.
Well, there's a lot of shit blowing up too, like randomly, which is crazy all over the place. Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting too to go back to like the alien stuff, right? So like what happens with the Space Force stuff? Like, do we start seeing like either like cigar ships, triangle ships, spheres with USA on the side, and we're going into combat and we're shooting like fucking lasers down rolling in with drones and saucers coming into battle. Well, that aren't even being manned by people. It's all the people playing Call of Duty.
Well, I think one of the big things with the Space Force, though, is like, hey, that's a natural progression because originally the Air Force is part of the Army, and they're like, we're going up, we need a new force.
And the Marines are part of the Navy, right?
We still are part of the Navy, technically.
A lot of people don't know that either.
Yeah, the thing with that, though, is one of the reasons I think a Space Force is justified is because if we ever have a big war, like straight up war with Russia or China, first thing that's going to happen is we're going to try to shoot each other's satellites down so we can't communicate.
Fuck yeah, that's how you got to do it. Absolutely, that's what Space Force is really all about.
You need something to be able to defend, spatial.
I mean, have you ever seen the pictures of the trash heap of garbage that's orbiting around the world of the Earth? It's like so much nonsense because everybody's just got trash up there.
I think it was in the 60s. They were trying to early 60s, late 50s, maybe. We were trying to figure out a way to bounce UHF and VHF fucking signal around better. So there's like 10 square miles of straight up just needles floating up there because somebody had the bright idea to like, we're going to blanket this area with needles so radio waves will hit it and bounce back down and we can talk better.
It's really crazy. I mean, somebody was saying too, like the technology like element is just so ridiculous right now. It's like it took like so long to get to like from paper to like the printing press, right? Yeah. And then like it's only like 500 years from the printing press to email. So like we're in this weird technology. Like, I mean, I know we're all aware of it. I know it's like a common sense thing to say, but it's getting scary the amount of technology that people are being like okay to accept, right? So like my whole thing is like the more the technology gets crazier, the more the ability of your rights are disappearing, right? So anybody that feels that they're giving their rights up for freedom is asking for tyranny, right?
The thing with that is like you don't even have to give up your rights because you're not like your rights only protect you in theory from the government. Your rights don't protect you from accepting terms and services and letting Facebook do whatever the fuck they want.
It's like
permission to them.
It's like the episode of South Park where they're like, "Oh, you didn't read the terms of service? oh, now you're going to be the centipede, right? It's like, and it's like, no, and who reads the terms of service? And they're like, dude, we all read the terms of service. Like, are you crazy? But like, it is. It's like, what are you agreeing to in that world? And what basically what you're saying is, I give you the right to sell my data to every marketing company and everyone who wants to get the information that they need to those people. So I can use like. Do you not realize that you're using a digital platform that you're not paying to be on, right?
Yeah.
So they're making money on you somehow. I mean, do people forget that Google is not a search engine? Google is an advertising company.
Yeah.
They've always been an advertising company. That's what they do. The
other thing too with that though, this plays into that when people are like, hey, don't add people you don't know on Facebook. And it's like, how about you add whoever the fuck you want on Facebook and just don't put sensitive information on the internet?
Oh, there you go. You know what my favorite thing is too is why do people fight on Facebook? People
superiority complexes.
Fight on Facebook. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great. Like, it's great stuff to read, but like the keyboard cowboy like pandemic that's going on is really the problem. Like, people talk so much shit on the internet. It's like unbelievable.
I am extremely guilty of that. Not for fighting, but I'll go into a random comment section and just say you're wrong about the wage gap, and then turn off notifications, and then come back 2 days later.
That is amazing.
Just to see what who said, because people will start their own arguments. And it's like, all right, well, I'll just ignore this. 2 days later.
Yeah, that's gold. That's gold shit though. And then they're calling you out and you're not responding, and it makes them even more mad. Oh, that's classic shit right there too.
I'm a notorious shit poster though. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, it's like pretty much okay. If you follow me on Facebook, there's gonna be some shit slinging just because fuck it, I can. I think a lot of it's like yeah, there is a lot of people that like feel the need to like press their ideas on strangers, but there's also a lot of shit posting trolls out there that are doing it.
Yeah. Here we go. Nate's awesome. Nate said, people on Facebook are wrong and they need to be made aware of how wrong they are.
Yes. Also, Nate reminded me that I just lost the game, and I have to tell everybody that.
Oh, what's the game?
You know what the game is?
No.
Okay, so this is deep old internet. So I forget exactly what the rules are, but everyone is always playing the game. Like, once you're made aware of it.
All right, I know this fucking internet. This is like Internet Rules 6 or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Okay.
I lost the game, everybody.
Cool. Why don't you go on stickdeath.com and check it out. I don't know. I have no idea. Let me know how's E-Bombs World doing, Nate, and also let me know how Newgrounds is doing, and the G.I. Joe parodies on YouTube. Let me know how you're making out.
Do you remember Desktop Destroyer?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Okay, so it was this thing you downloaded, and what it did was like took a screenshot of your desktop, but it made it your whole like widescreen or whatever, and then you had a menu on the bottom where you can use like knives or chainsaws or guns or flamethrowers, and you just like shut up your.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, it's great. I play that all the time. It does not look like Stick Death is around anymore. I mean, there's YouTube of it all day, but man, that was like great early crazy internet shit, man. Stick Death, gotta love that.
Fuck, that was great. So anyway, fucking back to the conspiracy theories, because that's what we said we were supposed to be here for. Okay, so what do you think about this
real quick. Yeah, we also enjoy each other, okay, everybody? So you have to realize that we're just having fun as well. We'll get to conspiracies, believe me.
We'll get to them. But Roswell, right? Have you heard the thing where, because you know how like after World War II, like all the Nazis that didn't get killed all went to South America? Oh,
dude, have you ever seen Tim Kennedy?
Oh God, I love that shit. Hunting Hitler.
Dude, the third season of that, he literally goes to the town in Argentina, and it's basically like going into like Chinatown, but it's
Little
Berlin, and like they're in Lederhosen, they all speak German. And like people are like, oh no, my grandfather, he is a Nazi. Here's his stuff. Like this is.
No, but there's a theory that the Roswell crash was actually some Nazi aircraft from South America, like just a spy plane or whatever, and then it crashed, and then the government's like, hey, If we tell people the Nazis are still around, they're gonna flip their shit.
So what is that? What is that fucking a PR meeting look like? They're like, all right, boys, this is what we got. Okay, we've got. Let everyone know that in 1948, that after it's been like 2 years since the war, the Nazis are still around, or we could go aliens.
But not actual aliens, just like hint at it. So
what did they say? Everything's a weather balloon. Like, what the fuck are you? But like, people were stupid back then, right? Because, well, they weren't stupid. I take that back. The amount of the amount of information was very minuscule at the most, right? So like, you got TV, you got radio, and it's on whenever they feel like it being on, and then you've got like a handful of newspapers, and then that's it.
I want to say before 1920, I think. The if you got like a Sunday newspaper now, or maybe not now, but like 10 years ago, back when like a Sunday newspaper was like a thing.
Yeah.
If you get a Sunday newspaper, there would be more information in that than people got in their entire life before 1920.
Is that insane to even think about?
Yeah. Because like, you had radio and TV kinda if you had money to buy it.
You got to remember too, and it was easy to manipulate information, right? Yeah. And it goes back to like one of my favorite stories is the whole like how the Rothschilds took over like England after the Napoleon and the war, right? So like when Napoleon lost, before anything happened, the Rothschilds had one of their goons on horseback within like 6 minutes of basically getting the word that they had won, and rode all the way back and got back to England before 36 to 48 hours before anyone even thought about like making their way back to England. So they tell the Rothschilds that the English had won the war, and basically the Rothschild went in and he started selling all his stock, and everyone's like, oh fuck, we must have lost. We must have lost. The French must have won. Napoleon must have beat us. So everyone just starts selling all their shit. He comes in and fucking buys everybody's stocks, pennies on the fucking dollar.
Nice.
Bang. Running the economy. They don't care about who the government is.
Would that have been like 1813 Enron?
yeah, exactly. It was like I mean, they saw the opportunity and they went through it. So, it's very crazy to the information. If you're first to it, then like the other side of the story too is like when the British were coming and Paul Revere went through. Like Paul Revere was like a very like well-connected networker.
Well, he was a silversmith too. Like he owned like most of the silver in New England.
And like he like knew everybody, right? Like so like they knew who he was. But there's another guy that went south that was not nearly as networked, and it wasn't as well like in the community, and the information didn't travel nearly as fast as it did towards the north.
Yeah. I guess two things. Remind me the revolution after this, but since we're talking about Napoleon, have you ever heard the story of when Napoleon came to power the second time?
I did not know.
So you know how he like lost and they like sent him to go live on some island off the coast of Spain or some shit? So he's there for like a year or two and says, fuck it, I'm going back. I'm the fucking emperor of France. I'm gonna go be the fucking emperor of France. So he gets on a boat, goes up there, lands on the fucking beach, starts walking to fucking Paris, right? And the government in Paris is like, hey, listen, this is bad. This is gonna be bad for France. Let's send an entire army to go fucking kill this guy just because fuck it, we're done with him. So they send this fucking army to go kill Napoleon, and they get there, and Napoleon's like, your emperor has returned. And then his entire army's like, you're goddamn right he did. And then they went on Napoleon round 2.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he manipulated it. So everybody was like, "We're
no, because we fucking think of Napoleon a little bit differently because our understanding of him comes from British propaganda. France fucking loved him because he like pulled them out of fucking the feudal ages. He got rid of feudalism in Europe. Like we don't give him credit for that. Like,
it is crazy how much the French and the English hate each other.
Yeah. But the other thing too is like Napoleon wasn't short. He was like 5'2" in French feet, which was like 5'11" in British feet.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. So he was taller than average for back then. He's average height now, but back then the The Brits were like, "Oh, he's 5'2". Just don't put the French foot part in there. Just say he's 5'2".
Isn't that fucked up? And that's the information that go. Because what's the classic line, right? History is just his story.
Yeah.
Right. The winners write history always.
Which is great because that only works in English. Like if you said that in any other language, you'd be like, "Airskrieben."
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to just see how it can be so manipulated and how like they've utilized that. So like that's really what's been going on. I mean, and we the Rothschild stuff is just the beginning of it. I mean, there's a reason that they're not on the richest people in the world. Like the Rockefellers aren't on there, but Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are, right? It's because they're the hidden hand, right? That's what's going on, and it's not this like. So everybody wants to go George Soros, right? So just take George Soros, for example, right? So George Soros is absolutely manipulating things through the wealth that he has. And one of the ways that he's doing it is he's funding campaigns for DAs all over the country, which is like ridiculous. Like he's funding DAs like 10 times the normal amount that a DA runs for office. And like when people vote for a DA, like what's the turnout for like a district attorney for like a state? It's very extremely low.
The only time I vote for them is if it's already on the fucking ballot for other shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like he's coming in, and while Trump is putting judges in, Soros is putting in DAs everywhere. So now they're fighting with each other all over it. And it's crazy to see that he can fund all that stuff, right? Because the plan has been in motion since Albert Pike and Morals and Dogma. Right. So like they predicted everything that they wanted to do. And what they've realized is that the plan of taking over the world, the Georgia Guidestones, right? The greatest the ideal population is 500 million people in the world, written in 13 different languages. And part of that is understanding that it's a plan that is based through generational. It's generational. It's not game. They don't. It's long con all day. Also the Chinese are fucking winning that as far as we're concerned too, because like we're this year. What are we doing this year? The Chinese are like, hey, we'll get to it in 60 years. Yeah, they don't give a fuck, dude. Like, and it's really funny how like
I think the term is generational grudge.
It's funny though. Like, okay, we all know like when you think of dictators, obviously everyone thinks of Hitler first and foremost. And yes, Hitler was a terrible person, did horrific things. But no one ever mentions Mao. It's very hard for people to realize that Mao Zedong killed like 100 million people.
Well, the thing about him though is he didn't fucking get conquered and didn't allow other people to fucking demonize him afterwards. Like I'm not saying that he didn't deserve being demonized.
Oh no, they had statues of him. They loved him forever. Dude.
Yeah, it didn't get to the same level because like his own people never got turned on him.
It's really crazy. And I mean, that's what's really going on now. And like everything we're seeing, like all this divide, like the majority of people don't like each other. People don't care. Yeah. Right? Like dude, people
let me go to work. Let me come home, eat dinner with my fucking family, bang my wife and go to sleep. Let me have a fucking barbecue on the weekend.
Nobody's like judging people based on either their sexuality, the color of their skin, or any of that shit. Nobody cares, right? Everybody has one rule. Are you an asshole? If you're an asshole, I want to hang out with you. That's it. Yeah. But they try to manipulate everybody because they have the abilities to do that, right? So when cable was started in the 80s, right, there were 75 companies that were putting out content through cable. And through the evolution of cable, now there's only 5 companies that own all the media that you're watching. Like, pay attention to it. Like YouTube is being shut down and people are being kicked off of Twitter and going to Parler for a reason.
See, my thing about Parler though is like I understand what it's trying to do, but the platform fucking sucks. Like it is not ergonomic at all. Like,
I don't think they said the platform sucks. I think that it is a super, super early iteration of what it's going to be developed. It's going to take time. Twitter sucked in the beginning too, and then what happens? You do updates, and your UI gets better, and you have engineers and designers that come in. And
I'm sorry, Parler's like what, a year and a half, 2 years old, maybe.
If like, that, yeah, it's super young, dude.
And like I know that I should be on it just to be like I was one of the first guys here, but and like I have an account, but I think I made like 2 fucking posts, but it's like, dude, this is just so fucking hard to use.
Yeah, I mean, as of last month, they've got almost 3 million users, and before that, they were hanging out in the low, 500, 600,000. So it's blown up because you've got all these people that have been kicked off of stuff that are going. So like they started it. Yeah, they started in 2018.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like one of the bigger bullshit things.
August of 18. So it's literally only been 2 years.
Yeah. But like one of the bigger bullshit things right now, especially on Facebook, is like hey, listen, this is fake news. Let me tell you why. And it's like,
but that's fucking bullshit. Because who's the person that's
in the thing where it says this is fake news because of this, and it's like that thing you said it's fake news for is exactly what it's saying.
I don't. It's well, here it is. It's the tried and true. Are you a publisher, or are you a provider?
Yeah.
Because there's two differences behind it. Because if you are a publisher, then you can be sued for the things that are going on there, and people can take care of your company. If you're a provider, then you're like AT&T, where I can call you on my phone and we can talk all kinds of shit and say X, Y, and Z, and you're not going to turn my phone off.
Yeah.
So what are you? What are you? Are you like? Are you a utility? What's going on? Like,
I do think that like once a social media platform hits a certain number, I don't know what that number is, but I think that there should be a number where once it gets to that, they should have to stop being one thing and bounce up to the fucking other and be treated like a utility. Like Facebook should be a fucking utility.
Dude, Facebook has 2 billion users.
Yeah, that's fucking
There's
what? 2/3
yeah, it's a quarter of the population.
Yeah, like at that point.
I mean, but it's a slippery slope. Like, here we go. We're back to the same thing we said before. Like, it's a private business. So whose job is it? Is the government allowed to come in and say, because you have so many people on your platform that now you have to utilize X? Or can we get to the point where what's going on? I mean, like, there's a big difference between Facebook and Twitter, right? So like, there's a lot of weird shit on Twitter. There's not a lot of weird. There's not a lot of weird.
Like, and not to get into politics, but like, you can't say certain things about. Like, a little bit too far right, but I can recruit for ISIS, and I can put hard porn on here.
And I can do Antifa and say we're going to break into this person's house, and it's okay, right? But like on the other side, Facebook is not. Facebook is very old boomer, early Gen Xer kind of thing, right? Where it's very like it's a PG-13 platform, and
people aren't in that demographic. They still have a Facebook, they're just not on it a lot.
No, I mean, I think there was a weird point where we all realized that anybody under 40, 45 was kind of like, oh, okay, everybody that didn't really know how to use the internet now is on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Instagram is hilarious, so I'm going to go to Instagram. And then the younger generation was like, I don't want anything to do with Facebook, and Instagram is okay, but I'm having way more fun on Snapchat and TikTok.
Well, the thing with Instagram though is like it's not perceived as fucking quite as toxic, because it's like, here's a picture, I can look at the picture and just scroll past the fucking caption. I don't have to hear your fucking.
I agree, and they have and the way that their platform is like kind of like integrated with like not allowing links, right?
Yeah.
And like they've got this weird thing where it's like things that you would take for granted that you could put on other platforms, you can't. And they limit that user activity, I think, on purpose. But also, Instagram is so fucking spammy. It's like unbelievable.
Well, like every fifth post is a fucking ad.
Every fifth post is like an ad. And then all the other shit, like all these meme accounts are all like, oh yeah, the face I made when I realized I can make $7,500 a month. And it's like, what the fuck? And like, you're taking advantage of people, like, because there's definitely people out there that are clicking on that shit and being like, oh, I want to make $7,500 a month, right?
Yeah, but like, see, there's a part of me with that though, where it's like, dude, if you get an email saying that there's some Nigerian prince that you actually are,
isn't that the best?
And if you send me $1,000 right now, I'll send you $500.
Oh my god!
Go with the natural selection. Where you're stupid enough to fucking do that, you deserve to lose that money, man.
I fucking love the Nigerian prince. That is like the greatest classic shit that a lot of people don't know about
anymore, though, or like people.
Well, did you ever see there's a guy that's like he's like a kind of a comedian now, but he did a TED talk about like running the spammers and communicating with them and like getting them. He's like a British guy.
Yeah.
And he would like basically like get them to like talk in code words, and like get them to like basically waste their time with him so they didn't have to waste anybody else's.
Yeah. I got a thing I do like that too, because like I also like make art and shit. But one of the things I'll do is like once I realize that somebody's fucking talking to me because they want me to invest in their fucking pyramid scheme, I'll get them on the hook, get them to like explain the whole thing to me, and I'm like, all right, well, so what you're saying is if I give you $500, we'll invest this the right way, and in a month I'll have a 10 grand return. Like, yeah, all I gotta do is this, that, and whatever. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Check this out. I'm a painter. I'm an artist. I do this thing where I make nude portraits, and I charge people.
Here we go.
If you send me a bunch of nudes, I will paint you and send you the painting, and then you take the $500 you would have spent on that, invest it for me, and give me 10 grand. And then they're like, well, that's not how it works. I'm like, hold on, give me 1 second. And then I have like 5 or 6 friends that are on board with me on this. And like I photoshopped them like naked.
Just do it.
Like made it kind of look like a painting. And then they'll be like, oh my God, you're talking to this guy? I love his painting. Look, he did this to me. And then like they'll have a picture of like
long con on the scammers. All right. I'm gonna take a quick break and then I'll be right back.
Do that.
I got too many beers in me.
All right.
We're coming back. We're talking about Nigerian princes because Nate said he got an email like 5 years ago.
All right. See you in a minute. How many people are watching? Oh, there's a few of you here. What's going on in the comments? By the way, the one and only Horton HO229, which is a fucking banger aircraft, by the way. Actually, it's not a banger aircraft. I don't think they ever actually flew the thing. They might have. Is at the Air and Space Museum next to the Dulles Airport. The Dulles Airport Air and Space Museum is fucking sick as shit, by the way. I'll go into that here in a minute. While I was there a couple of years ago, you can see it in the restoration hangar. Okay, so first off, they have a fucking SR-71 there. I did not know those things were that big. I thought they were like the size of a fucking F-14, like maybe, I don't know, 40 feet long. They're fucking huge. The other fucking thing, though, is the fucking space shuttle. I didn't think they were that fucking big. Like the fucking like rear nozzle fucking things on the back of that fucker. You can fit a school bus in the back of that bitch. The fucking space shuttle is goddamn gigantic. I definitely got the Nigerian prince email within the last 5 years. Okay, so the Nigerian prince is still around. That's fucking good to know, people out there. Do not send your fucking money to Africa unless it's to invest in blood diamonds. But I forget what company owns all the blood diamonds. All diamonds on the planet come from the same fucking company, and they're harvested by slave laborers in Africa. So if you have diamonds or a cell phone, by the way, you're a slave laborer. So have fun with that information.
Here we go. We're live. Look at that. He did a great job.
There we go.
Filling the space.
Sorry, no, I got on a rant in the comments and then went down the whole fucking rabbit hole to where like the same company owns all the fucking shit.
It's called
makes diamonds
the beers, fucking scumbags. They basically, if they were to sell what they had, diamonds would be worth nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have diamonds or a cell phone, you contribute to slave labor. Have fun in hell, motherfucker.
Well, you know what's funny about the slave labor shit is Ricky Gervais calling them out at the fucking at that award show and saying like Apple's here and they're excited to get a thing even though they're people are jumping off and committing suicide on suicide nets in their facilities.
Yeah, they put nets up so you can't kill yourself anymore.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? And you think it's okay to make cell phones over there? What are you doing?
Like, one of the other arguments about that, though, that I think is fucking hilarious. And when people are like, well, the evils of capitalism. It's like, dude, look at communist countries. They're capitalists, too. Like, you're not getting away from this. I don't care what the political ideology is. A dollar is a fucking dollar.
Yeah. I mean, look, my thing is this, is that capitalism is great. It's just that the problem happens is that greed is integrated into who you are. So if you can figure it out, like I use this all the time, right? What's the difference between Walmart and Costco, right? Customer service, people like their jobs at Costco, and you enjoy your trip to Costco over a Walmart, right? Like we all go to Walmart because it's like, fuck, it's just so cheap. I just got to go. Fuck it. If you look at the CEO of Walmart, he makes $24 million a year. I mean, look, I'm all for it. I understand. Like you work your ass off, you do things, but like there has to be a point of like where do you say enough is enough and that you can then take that money and then either invest it back into your staff, invest it back into the company? Because the CEO of Costco makes $800,000. Now, of course, they all get incentives and things like that. But like, what's the difference? Like Costco's been paying people $15 an hour since like 2006. Not because they had to, but they knew if they paid their employees a little bit more, they'll stay, they'll work their ass off, they'll enjoy the company. They've got great culture, good leadership. I mean, it's just greed. It's all just greed. And like, it's very frustrating because it's just like, don't be a greedy son of a bitch. Like, and remember that your employees don't work for you, you work for them. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, or should. The other thing though, like I guess going back to fucking leadership and that though, is like people severely underestimate the value of telling your guys at the fucking end of the day or the week or whatever, or when you're handing out paychecks.
Attaboy.
Like, yeah, hey, good job. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Dude, an attaboy goes a long way, or an attagirl, whatever you want to do. But telling your employees that, hey, you did a good job means a lot to them.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have it to the point where the only time that someone you work for speaks with you is when you did something wrong.
Yeah. No, you should, like, so like, there should be, or I guess there is, different levels of fucking management, but like working management should be talking and with the workers fucking almost nonstop. Actual management should be with working management at least half the fucking day. And then, above that, then, that's all fucking phone calls and emails and doesn't fucking matter. But
yeah. Hashtag networking.
Yeah, right. Or what is it? Your net work determines your net worth.
Oh, I like that. Your net work determines your net worth.
Yeah, I have a buddy that told me that. And I was like, holy shit,
that's a good one. I like that.
But he was I'm not gonna throw names out there. Good buddy of mine, but he I don't think he's doing it now, but he used to do the thing where it was he worked for a bank, but he did corporate anti-terrorism, like through finances. So they'd like find out where money was going and be like, oh, this money is going to ISIS through these laundering accounts. All right, so we're gonna document all this, give that the Department of Homeland Security. Have fun, kids.
That is so it's like forensics, accounting kind of shit.
Like, yeah, but like, digital fucking currency or fucking whatever. So
that's crazy fucking
dude,
stuff.
It was nuts because like I got him drunk and he was telling me about it once. And I was like, that's a fucking thing. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, it makes sense that's a thing, but it didn't fucking hit me that it was. Jesus Christ. That's awesome that somebody's doing that.
Well, you know what it is that I think the majority of people are actually good people, and that you don't think that everybody's trying to scam everybody, but everybody is trying to expose anything all the time as easy as they can.
Well, the other thing that too, though, is like nobody thinks that they're the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like do you ever see the Muppets remake with Jason Segel and the guys are like, are we the bad guys? And they're like, yeah, guys, you're the bad guys. Sorry.
There was a British TV show I caught a clip of once, and it was these like a bunch of SS dudes like in a trench, and they're talking about killing the Russians or whatever.
I see that.
And he looks at it, he sees a skull. And bad guys. The dude's like, what are you talking about? We have a skull on our cap. He's like, yeah, but like pirates had skulls. They were cool. I was like, yeah, pirates were cool, but
pirates are terrible people too.
Yeah. And then like
hi, spoiler alert, pirates are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, are we the bad guys? Hey, if I could just flip back to what I said earlier, that guy's name that does the email stuff is James Veitch. Veitch. If you haven't checked him out, check it out. It's pretty funny. He basically spams the spammers. It's amazing.
Veitch?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So basically he would like sit there and like they'll talk about like gold investments, and then we can say, oh, you give us $1,000, we'll give you this, right? And then he like gets like into it and he says, oh, I actually work for a hedge fund, so this is great, let's make it happen. However, my email might be corrupted, so I need you to speak only in code words. If you're going to mention the following things, I'll use these syllables. And the guy writes back this email like, the gummy bears are ready for pickup on the robin's nest. It's like insane. It's great. It's so funny. And he did a TED talk on it, and it's really funny.
That's fucking great. Dude, like TED talks are like really hit or miss too, because like there's a lot of them that are like straight bullshit, but like I want to say a quarter of them are just golden.
I was talking about that the other day. Like what happened? Like over the last like 2 or 3 years, TED like disappeared. Like
how do I get on TED talk? Like
well,
what's the prerequisites? Who do I gotta talk to?
Well, here's the thing: is that there's TED, right, which is the organization as its own, but then there's also TEDx.
Okay.
So TEDx is when somebody basically volunteers to run a Ted,
So like a franchise almost?
Yeah, kind of like a franchise. So it's like I'm going to be a subsidiary, like we're going to be the Philadelphia or we're going to be the Pittsburgh or the Columbus TEDx event kind of thing. And then people can then like bring speakers on that way. So
I got some research to do. Fucking one of the other things, like I'm not doing it yet, but I do have a plan at some point. So I told you, I'm an author, wrote a few books, but I've wrote my 7th one. I'm in the middle of the 8th one, and then I'm gonna write the 9th one. I'm gonna release all 3 of them like within a couple of weeks of each other to ride the fucking algorithms or whatever.
Nice.
But I am gonna have a fucking campaign later where my whole campaign is to get Jeff Bezos to read my books.
That's actually great. Smart move. Because if
it works, it fucking works. And if it doesn't,
if you spam them hard enough and you troll them hard enough, you might get a retweet. And that's all you need, baby.
Have you ever seen that show, The Expanse?
No.
So there is these books called The Expanse, and pretty much what it is, it's like 500 years in the future. And the Cold War is getting hot between Earth and Mars, right? Like fucking World War, I guess not World War III, but like Galactic War I's about to fucking happen. Sci-Fi made it a TV show.
Oh, okay. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, they got like 2 seasons into it and said, fuck it, we don't have the money anymore. But Jeff Bezos loved the books. So he's like, hey, we're buying this. We're going to keep fucking making this. Fuck expenses. I don't give a shit. Give these people whatever the fuck they want. And the show is fucking great. It's beautiful. And it has like literally Amazon's fucking budget because Jeff Bezos like fucking books.
Dude, here we go. So in the contract, a few TV shows are even close, including The Expanse, to spending close to $100 million per season.
Because
Dude,
Jeff Bezos like the fucking books.
Well, it gets crazier because they're doing a Lord of the Rings show. It's going to be 20 episodes, and the budget's like $1 billion.
Dude, I fucking can't wait.
It's going to be and it's the Second Age. So it's Aragon. It's Aragon as a kid, and the ring hasn't even been created yet.
Well, I mean, because that would be Elrond as a kid. Because like I thought Aragon in
Aragon young, I guess, because he's like 180 years old or some shit, right?
Yeah, but like the Second Age would have been like 1,000 years before that, right?
Say, this is all you. I don't know. I'm not that deep. I'm not that. So maybe it is.
I mean, I'm not like super, super deep, but it's enough to be like,
bro, LOTR. I mean, come on now.
Well, dude, no, like one of the fucking things I think is fucking great about it is actually, I don't know how much I can talk about the thing, but one of the things that brought as much, I guess, depth and meaning to the Lord of the Rings was J.R.R. Tolkien was actually writing about his experiences in World War I, but instead of using, the fucking evil Germans and, the French guys that are about useless, I'm going to make these guys elves and those guys orcs and...
Really?
Yeah, like that dude was like knee deep in the fucking shit in World War I.
I did not know that. Yeah, dude. So talk about like a hybrid war, right? Like World War I, like if you've never done like obviously World War II is like the hot war that everyone wants to do research on and all that. And of course, crazy shit happened. But World War I was like a brutal like kill fest. And it was like this weird hybrid war where like technology of like automobiles and tanks was kind of a thing, but people were also all over on horseback and walking everywhere. And it was so fucking brutal.
Well,
brutal.
I want to go back into that here in a minute, but like one of the things though, the reason that we think that World War II is a mechanized war is straight up because of German propaganda. Most of the Blitzkrieg was done on horseback, but you never
see any horseback World War II ever.
The films they showed was, hey, look how badass we are. We're coming here with fucking tanks, man. We're fucking got dive bombers blowing shit up. We're carpet bombing everything. We got dudes with machine guns. And in real life, it was
they got 10. Yeah, they got 10 tanks, and that's the only 10 tanks in the shot. And they're layering it with fucking like putting the film over top of the film, so it looks like they've got 50 tanks.
Yeah, I mean, granted, by the end of the war, fucking industry got ramped up because they're like, fuck, we're gonna lose the war if we don't actually do this. And then they did it for like a year, but by that point, it didn't fucking matter because Russia was doing it fucking too, and so were us and the Brits and technically part of France, but you know, but yeah, dude, World War I's fucking crazy fucking thing because everyone's like, oh well, you know, that was like this super brutal war, and it was a super fucking brutal war. But if you read memoirs from World War One, it was also oddly fucking gentlemanly. Like, there's a book I read by this guy named Ernst Younger called Storm of Steel, and I'll go into him in a minute because he's got a fucking crazy story. But he joins the German army, I'm sorry, not the German army, the Prussian army in like 1914. Shows up as a private. By 1918, he's battalion commander. He's in charge of 1,000 dudes just because, you know, something would happen, guy on top of him get waxed. He'd get promoted just because somebody needed to be, and pretty much got promoted all the way to fucking major off of guy in charge of me got killed. I'm the next guy, whatever. But there was a part in the fucking book though where
I believe that's called voluntold.
Yeah, something like that. But there's a part in the book where they capture this British fucking company, right? And they take everybody's guns away. They send all the enlisted guys to a fucking like POW camp. And then they spend 3 days just getting shithoused with the British officers, like drinking fucking like wine they confiscated. And then like none of the Brits spoke German and none of them spoke English, but they all kind of spoke French. So they just got drunk and like spoke French-ish together. And then like after the 3-day bender, they gave all the officers their pistols back and like walked them back to the other trench with the white flag. Like, here are your officers back. You have a good day. Bye. And then like,
yeah, had a good time. Oh, I just realized that we're just both all real people.
Yeah, like weird shit. Or like
you know what's funny about World War One too is that no one really knows why World War One was fought.
I mean,
right? I mean, kind of, but it's not like, oh well, the Nazis came in and the Japanese blew up fucking Pearl Harbor, so then we all said no, you can't kill all these people. Like, this is ridiculous.
Wait, hold on. Wait. You said we don't know why World War One was fought
as well as World War Two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's as common knowledge on how World War One started. You know, how who was involved, who was fighting against who.
Well, one of the things that convolutes that though is like Franz Ferdinand got shot, right? And then Austria was like, "Oh, good, we didn't want that guy being fucking in charge anyway." And then like 6 months later, they're like, "Wait a minute, they shot this guy. We should start a war over that." Like, fuck these dudes. And then like it ended up just being like they invaded, you know, Serbia, which is bumfuck country, but Serbia had a fucking treaty with Russia, and then Russia's like, all right, fine, we'll honor that. And then Austria's like, Russia's getting involved, and then the Germans were like, okay, Austria, fine, but hey, while we're at it, let's take fucking France out too. And then everybody was just allied with everybody enough to
and America was like not a World War II America in World War One. It was kind of like, oh well, the U.S. said they would help, and they're like, oh, that's cool. That's another person on the team. Great. It wasn't
like
as
the first like 3 years of the war, we were selling guns to both sides.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, people forget about that. That's the old Rothschild thing, right? Fund both sides, and you win no matter what happens.
I play both sides, so I turn it on top. You
know. Yeah. So hey, so you've got a list. If you, we got about.
Shit.
40 minutes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
If you want to just kind of, we can do like Flash Zone stuff.
Well, I mean, we talked about a couple of these already. Hold on, where are we at? Let me write it here. Let's see. Where are we? I know I wrote down the Nazi bell. Yeah, Roswell crash, Nazi bell from South America. First thing. Second thing, Paul McCartney's actually dead.
Oh, 100%. Oh, I've been on this train forever, right? I mean, you're telling me that the only people that you're gonna have a lookalike contest for is the one guy that supposedly died. And I went down I'll tell you what, if you haven't gone down the Paul McCartney is dead rabbit hole, it is a blast. There is so much crazy shit that's going on with that. I mean, the fact that John Lennon has all that, they have all this backward stuff, all the secret like stuff on all the album covers. I mean, with the video footage of him being in the middle of like this ranch in Scotland by himself. It's very fascinating.
Huh. So like one of the pre-made banners I had says Catcher in the Rye was the greatest book ever because of John Lennon.
Well, this is what they said. They said that it was kind of like the Elvis thing, right? So it was like the Beatles were so big that if they announced that Paul had died, they were afraid of the backlash of the public.
Okay.
Right? So they literally had a lookalike contest only for Paul. And if you go back and you watch all, especially like the older stuff, because his actual name is I'll find out. But if you go back and you watch like him on like David Letterman, it's very weird the way he answers questions.
How so?
Well, he says things like, "Well, I am him," like shit like that. Like
not I'm me. Like,
yeah,
hey, dude,
not like I'm definitely I'm definitely not dead. Like, but it's like, well, I'm him. And then there's like weird stuff like on, especially like on the Now here's the thing: is that the guy is actually a great musician.
Yeah,
phenomenal musician. But there's also just this. It's just very strange, all of it. It's very fascinating to jump into.
All right. Well, we'll note that down. Second thing on the list: Donald Trump is actually a Clinton plant.
Oh no way!
No,
no way! No
like
way.
they were best friends until like 2013.
No, it's because he was a guy who had a lot of money and knew that if they were in office, he would be able to take advantage of the system.
Oh,
right. He is not the guy that they wanted to win, hands down. No way. They wanted Jeb. They wanted
not to win, but like Hillary Clinton fucking set up.
Dude, Hillary Clinton has killed so many people.
No. Hillary Clinton set up Donald Trump to be the Republican fucking candidate just because she thought, or the Clintons thought that
easy win.
No way we'd actually elect that
guy. Easy win. Because
it backfired.
If Trump wasn't running in 2016, the ticket would have been Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
that's what they wanted. Now, here's my question: is that when Bush Sr. died, what is the note that they all got in their programs?
So I don't know what that is, but it's funny because my next thing in line is George H.W. Bush killed JFK.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about that. So at George Sr.'s funeral, okay, in the programs of Obama, Michelle, George Bush Jr., W's wife, Jeb, the Clintons, they opened up their like funeral like flyers, and an envelope falls out, and they read the envelope, and of course Hillary Clinton is just so fucking aware of everything that's going on, and she's got stone face whenever she reads. But Jeb Bush reads it, and like he's got his hand on his heart, and his dad rolls by, and he like puts his hand down, and his face goes white, and Laura Bush shows him the thing, and they're like, what the fuck? So like, if you don't know about that, watch the video footage of them getting the envelopes and what is in the envelopes. I think it's something.
What if it's so simple as like maybe George H.W. Bush was a giant dick to his kids, and all Jeb Bush's thing said was, "I love you, son." Yeah, that's a possibility, man.
Because Jeb Bush is definitely one of those guys that's like, "Hey, Dad, look what I did." And they're like, "Yeah, well, your brother George is going to buy the Texas Rangers, so we're just going to get him into politics for a small period of time, so we can get a little bit of cred in Texas, and then buy the Texas Rangers." And then they're like, "Oh, wait, I'm the president now?" And they're like, "Well, you're not the president. Dick Cheney's really the president, and we brought a bunch of old Nixon guys into the cabinet to kind of help us."
Dude, that's one of the things I don't understand is like, what's all the fucking hate with George Bush Jr.? Like, fucking, he didn't do any of that. That was all Dick Cheney. Like,
poor W.
Cheney got it all about it, but like that was
there is a weird like stigma after someone has been president after another person has become president, that you kind of be able to look at the whole cloud, and like poor W definitely got thrown into that position.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
you actually wanted to be president as much as it was like, "Hey, dude, you're going to be president." He's like, "Okay, Dad."
He did not want to be president. He wanted to buy the Texas Rangers. That's what he wanted to do. He loved baseball. He was a Texas boy. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a classroom reading a book to kids, and someone says, "Sir, somebody just blew fucking the towers up," and he goes, "Oh, okay, I'm just going to finish this duck story, and then I guess we'll just figure it out." Like, he He was definitely, what's the fool me once, shame on, and fool me twice, and well, you're not gonna shame me again.
Also, real quick, Ronnie said Jeb's note said, "Please clap."
Please clap.
Dude, another thing though, did you ever play the Metal Gear Solid games? You said you're a big gamer.
Absolutely, that's some of my favorites.
Think about this though. Metal Gear Solid took place in the distant future of 2005, right? Metal Gear Solid 2
when it came out in 99.
yeah. Metal Gear Solid 2 establishes that the third clone, Solidus Snake, who is the mastermind of everything, used to be the president of the United States of America. He was the president during the Shadow Moses incident in 2005.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Solid Snake looks like George Bush.
Go, baby.
Solid Snake looks like George Bush.
He has a very George Bush look with a beard, right?
Yeah. And then considering that George H.W. Bush was the head of the CIA for however the fuck long, and a fucking war hero in World War II, and if you actually look into his shit, a fucking mean motherfucker, really fucking fits the big archetype.
How about his father fucking basically working with IBM to create like the fucking barcode system for the Nazis?
All I'm saying is Solid Snake physically looks like W.
What if W actually is Solid Snake? What if W is like MK Ultra and is just like picks up the phone and it's like, and he's like, I have to kill the queen. Goes full fucking Mr. October on him.
Dude, like, no, that's a thing. Although what I do fucking love about the fucking Metal Gear Solid series is like you always end up being the bad guy at the end, and Revolver Ocelot was the fucking good guy the entire fucking time.
Isn't it crazy? Well, it's because it's always that thing where like we are engraved with propaganda here too. Like we always think that we're the good guys, and sorry, I love my country. The West is the best. America first. All that, but we are definitely the bad guys a lot of the time.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. Why are you here? It's easy. We're here for God, gold, oil, and diamonds, baby. Come on now.
No, but yeah, no, we're fucking it is this weird duality, because like
it is
like I'm not gonna dive too far into politics, but just say, hey, listen, this other fucking person who is president did some stuff, and I'm gonna explain X, Y, and Z why that's fucking evil. And if you didn't know who President X was, and you just heard did this, you'd be like, why aren't we shooting that guy? Like,
yeah,
why
exactly.
Right now, what the fuck?
I know.
But on the flip side of that. That's still us.
Well, I think what's crazy too is the thing
like, even if we don't want to take responsibility for it, we paid the taxes to fund it. So I mean, like,
come on, right? I mean, like they were not wrong in the 70s saying like, why the fuck are we in Vietnam? The Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag just to get us in there because for some reason we thought, what? Why the fuck are we going there?
Because Lyndon Johnson's wife owned Bell Helicopter.
Oh. Okay. Well, you know what's funny too is that when Kennedy was assassinated, the first thing that Lyndon Johnson did was give the Federal Reserve the right to print money again, because Kennedy and Lincoln were the only two presidents that were ever assassinated because they took the fractional reserve banking away from the feds and gave it to the Treasury Department.
They weren't the only presidents to be assassinated, though. Fucking.
Well, I mean, assassinated for giving it to the Treasury. So, like, literally, they both gave the Treasury Department the right to print money, and then they were killed, and then the Fed took back that.
Yeah, immediately afterwards. Yeah, weird.
No, definitely more than just the two of them have been assassinated.
Although, if we are talking about fucking presidents being assassinated and like shit that's going on, I do think that if this conversation ever does come up, it is pertinent to point out that there was one presidential fucking guy who got shot before he gave a speech, and then said it's going to take more than that to kill me, and then his entourage beat that dude half to death before they drug him to fucking prison, and then gave like a 3-hour fucking long speech talking about how fucking badass he was. You're welcome, fucking Teddy Roosevelt.
I was going to say Teddy Roosevelt all day.
Yeah,
dude, he was a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can grab him. You're good. No, you're fine. You're not on camera.
All right. So hold on. We talked about fucking that. Let's move on. Let's move on. Coronavirus is actually a psyop to hide ugly people behind masks.
No, I think coronavirus is a distraction to destroy the economy because there's no other way to defeat Trump. Because for some reason, The Democrats don't want to focus on what their policies are and nothing more than Orange Man bad. Now, I'm not saying that coronavirus isn't real, because it's totally real, but it's definitely an opportunity to. It's an opportunity to have people be submissive, right?
Well, the thing with that though is whether it's that or if it's just fucking government incompetence, which I'm inclined.
I think a big part of it is government incompetence, because no one can predict or have the ability to figure out, oh shit, everybody's dying, and what the fuck are we going to do?
But the other thing though is like the rest of the world kind of seems like they at least kind of have it under control, as we're like, fuck it, dude.
I think we have it under control too. I think that it's just that the majority of people are watching too much news.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that I'm around, everybody is either aware of whether they have it or not, and if they don't feel comfortable, then they're not going out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, but like, think about like the Bill of Rights is disappearing and the Constitution is disappearing, and these things too, because now what they've
tried to get rid of that since the fucking 18.
Well, but think about this, right? So this could totally be just a test, right? And now what they've learned is that they can do this anytime they want now. So if the shit hits the fan, they can just go, up, pandemic. Everybody go inside, shut the fuck up, don't ask any questions. If you don't wear a mask or you ask any questions, you're a conspiracy theorist and you are racist. or whatever, right? Or whatever they want to say. And that's the scary part.
Oh, the fucking what is it? The God, it's not shame sessions. Struggle sessions are fucking definitely fucking real.
I don't know that. What is that?
So it was the thing that first came up in gulags in the Soviet Union, where it was like, hey, listen, you're in this gulag because you made a chicken eat bread. You're not in the gulag because you fucking made a chicken eat bread. You're in the gulag because you said something about Stalin. But we're going to make you stand in the middle of the circle, and we're all going to scream at you because you made a chicken eat bread for fucking 3 hours until you admit that you made a chicken eat bread.
Gotcha. It's like when you think your wife's mad at you because you left the toothpaste open, right? You left the cap on the toothpaste, but really it's the 10 things that you did before.
Yeah. All right. So next on the list, George H.W. Bush killed JFK.
See, the JFK thing's crazy. So let's talk about just George Bush in general, right? So, like, I mean, the fact that he is CIA for how many years before he becomes even involved with it, right? And like, do people forget that?
Well, it's not that he was CIA. He was the director of the CIA at this point.
And I think because Reagan was such a different type of president, right? People forget that George Bush was his vice president.
Yeah.
I don't think if you ask a lot of people who was Reagan's vice president, I don't think many people would be aware that it was George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
And the influence that he had through that entire thing. And then the problem is that too, is that at that 2 years of Reagan, he kind of went like scrambly brains because he had dementia really bad.
Well, I mean, he was old as fuck. He was making movies in the fucking 20s, right?
Yeah. Crazy.
So like he was like 80 when he was president. Like, well, that was again, like he wasn't like super old, but he was one of the old. I think at the time he was the oldest president, right?
Yeah, I mean that he was. I mean, you see his pictures, and like it's a different type of old back then, right? So like it's not the same. So like he was president in 81, okay, and he was born. Here we go. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing live research. And he was born in 1911.
Oh, yeah, so he's fucking old.
70 years old. And he's 70 years old in 1980. So that's old as fuck. You're old, man. I mean, 70 years old today is not 70 years old 40 years ago.
Well, dude, 40 is not the same as it was back then.
Hell no.
So,
I mean, look, yeah. I'll be 40 in like 2 years, and like, nice to meet you. How you doing? Good to see you. But it's definitely a different animal. It definitely is. I mean, so he was extremely old, and by the time he was like the last 2 years of his second term, he kind of went full dementia. And they all say, oh, well, at that point it was okay. The policies were already in line, and Nancy was running the show. No. George Bush was fucking running the fucking show. Getting shit rolling, ready
the guy
to
that used to be in charge of the fucking CIA is just hanging out, not doing anything. Okay,
get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Dude, not even get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. And it's also the point too. It's like he's got. I mean, you were talking about hashtag networking, right? I mean, he's got all the relationships already created.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, they've known him for 30 years as the head of the CIA, and he goes, huh, "Oh, by the way, the actor is appointing me as vice president," and it's just Cheney. It's a worse Cheney.
Yeah,
is what it is.
But you didn't have the internet to fucking tell you about it, and it was fucking what, dude? It's fucking crazy to think about. But 1980 was 40 fucking years ago.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. So like you don't realize it. Like you don't think it was that long ago, but it was also that fucking long ago.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and like the Reagan thing is nuts because he was definitely one of the first people that kind of was. I mean, he was governor of California. People forget that too. I mean, but like he ran against Jimmy Carter, who was just terrible. And people were like, "What is going on? Like, this is our president. He's a peanut farmer. Like, what's going on?"
Yeah. Although, fucking in retrospect, you can pick apart anything. Like, I personally, like, I would like to say that, like, I guess I am going to go into politics a little bit, not too deep, but just, I'm pretty independent. I'm mostly in the middle. I fucking hate Reagan though, just because of how he handled Lebanon and the firearms.
Come on, man. I mean, we can go through it all day, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm a middle guy, right? Like, so if I had to put myself, I'm a conservative liberal. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like I'm 70.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't really give a shit about what you do. Like, I live my life by 5 easy rules, right? Like, stay in my pocket, stay in my bedroom. Are you here legally? Do you pay your taxes? Are you an asshole? Other than that, I don't give a shit what you fucking do.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't say I was a libertarian, but I do resonate with the fucking thing about like I just want to like take a machine gun to my gay wedding or to my gay friends' fucking wedding and smoke weed.
Yeah, great. Go ahead. You're not hurting anybody. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you fuck or what you do or where you're at. Just don't be an asshole. It's not that hard.
Yeah, but they fucking divide that shit where like just because like you want a smaller government that makes you a racist now, and it's like, dude, how the fuck does that go together? That doesn't fucking go together.
It's not the government's job to do X. Yeah, that's what I say all the time. Like people want to do like healthcare and all that shit, and I'm like, it's not the government's job to give you healthcare. Here we go. How about this? How about you privatize the healthcare system, and people like Geico that have 15 million subscribers can then go to the Aetnas and all the big insurance companies around and go, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I got 15 million people that want your insurance. What can you do for us? Oh, you can do $60 a month? Okay, great. Yeah, because you're getting 15 million fucking people. Yeah. And out of that 15 million people, like 0.5% are actually going to really take advantage of the fucking insurance that they have."
Yeah. No, one of the other things that like I say at school a lot, which really pisses people off for some reason, and I don't know why. It's like, yeah, dude, we could totally have universal health care if we, pulled out of NATO and the UN and just use that money for that. And they're like, but why would we pull out of the UN? It's like, look at how much money we're giving them and what we're getting on the return. We could have fucking universal health care if we stopped giving all our fucking money to Europe. Just fucking saying.
Just saying. And then they get mad because the administration wants to pull out of all that shit. That it's like, why are we giving people money? Like, let's get out. And like the Paris Accords and shit. They're like, oh God, it's so ridiculous. Like they were limiting us to do things, but allowing everyone else to do the opposite.
Yeah,
like it's a terrible deal.
It goes back into that fucking like fucking same hypocrisy where it's like fucking like I am really mad at Trump because we're still in Afghanistan and Iraq. And then if I criticize the Obama fucking administration for not coming out of Iraq or Afghanistan, I'm the bad guy. And it's like, but aren't you guys mad at Trump for doing that right now?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. But anyway, next thing, the Black Pope.
Oh. So the Black Pope is a crazy fucking thing. Right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Somebody brought it up the other day. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then like I remember.
So the Black
there's a view. So let's go.
So the Black Pope is more or less like the shadow government of Christianity.
The Catholic Illuminati.
Of the Catholic, it is. It's the Catholic Illuminati, really, and it goes. We could spend hours on this, but really, what it is it's adrenochrome. It's the Red Shoe Club. It's all the pedophilia shit and them utilizing all that sex trafficking to the max. I mean, it's basically, if you want to do, like you said, if you want to do the short version of it, it is the Catholic, it is the Catholic Illuminati.
Dude, the other thing though, like with the fucking pedophilia thing, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I do want to fucking bring up how fucking hypocritical the fucking anti-arguments are about that, where it's like, well, there is no fucking like actual conspiracy about on that. Also, let's criticize.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
It's like we're gonna criticize the Catholic Church about the thing that doesn't fucking exist. Which one is it, buddy?
Well, here's the other thing too. It's like, you know, like, does nobody care that Jeffrey Epstein was doing stuff? And like, does nobody care that Ghislaine Maxwell? So here's the thing, right? So like, Ghislaine Maxwell went around and around the world as she was being like investigated. So like, the theory on that is that Jeffrey said, "Fuck you, I'm not going to say anything," and Ghislaine said, "Oh, I'll spill my guts like a fucking songbird," and she went all over the place because what happens? Think about this, right? You're in this ring for so long. Okay. And you know that they have this footage, and kind of the rule is, hey, we're going to videotape you doing this, but you can do it. And they're like, great, I want to do it. But then, you know, in the back of the head, they have evidence on you.
Yeah.
Right. So she goes around the world and goes to Australia, all over the place. She goes to Europe. And what happens? Jeffrey gets arrested, goes to jail, and they go, fuck, he's going to fucking sing. So who are they calling? They call Ghislaine. Right, so they call her, and now, what if she's working for the U.S. government, all wired up, getting everybody to spill their fucking guts, so spill everything that they're doing? It's kind of weird that Tom Hanks got coronavirus the same time he was shooting a movie in Australia when Ghislaine Maxwell was in Australia, and now is a citizen of Greece, where pedophilia is a disorder and not a crime.
So
it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, no, that is kind of weird. But like, what I would suggest, and I don't have proof of this. This is all speculation, right?
Same here. Everything I just said is speculation.
I don't have proof of speculation. But like, Ghislaine Maxwell had all the fucking shit that Jeffrey Epstein did, as far as fucking like videotapes
and more.
But Jeffrey Epstein gets caught, doesn't kill himself, quote unquote.
The fuck out of here! It's such fucking bullshit. No. He did not kill himself.
Well,
it's so insane.
That's why the quotes.
No, I understand that, but the fact that they push that as a narrative is so insane.
But anyway, fucking Maxwell's like, okay, I'm number 2 in the line.
Yeah, so I don't want to die.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a bunch of shit onto fucking hard drives, and I'm gonna give them to fucking 10 friends. And then if anything happens to me, take this to fucking CNN. So the reason she hasn't killed herself yet is because, hear me on this, there's 2 outcomes, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Joe Biden wins. All the fucking dirty shit for Republicans comes out. The Democrat shit doesn't come out. Other side of that, Trump wins. All the dirty shit for Democrats come out. The Republican shit doesn't.
See, I disagree. I think if Trump wins, it's going to be both sides, and it's going to be all of them, because a lot of the people that are around him, especially Barr and all those people, have been in the swamp for so long that they see all the scumbag rhinos and all these dirty Republicans and the dirty Democrats. No, it's time to clear house.
So not that, but from her perspective.
Her perspective. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, they can't kill me, so. What I'm saying is, like, I'm going to go
I win no matter who wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go tell Biden, hey, if you win this, that, or whatever, don't kill me.
Yeah,
hey,
and Joe,
I win, I'm going to do this, don't kill me.
But Joe knows, because of all the Pizzagate shit, and I'll take a bunch of pizzas, and I'll take 16 hot dogs and all that.
Dude, I hate that that's labeled a conspiracy theory and outlandish, especially after the Epstein shit. It's like, before that, it's like, dude, I'll listen to your fucking argument after Epstein came to light and it wasn't just a fucking conspiracy theory anymore. It's like an actual fucking thing. It's like, why is this outlandish now?
Oh yeah. So like, here you go. Nate's saying it's so funny how Wayfair just disappeared, right? So and it was on Walmart. It was like Ellen DeGeneres was selling pillows for 10 grand. Nobody thought that was weird. Nobody thought that was strange.
Hold on. What? Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I'm a little bit dyslexic. Fucking the one above that, Ronnie, was, big L libertarians, small L libertarians, and losertarians. But I misread that as lobstertarians, and I was like, is there going to be a New England joke in here?
Oh, so that would be great. I mean, are they from Maine, lobstertarians?
Dude, free fucking lobsters for everybody that can afford it. Fucking, I'm down.
But Nate makes a good point. So Nate, I'm going to call you out again because Nate's been killing it the whole time. But I think part of it is that you have to realize that they are running this shit in plain sight. So and that goes into what we haven't really touched a lot about too is the magic, right? MAGICK magic, right? So the ability to create these scenarios and situations and be able to utilize that energy from the kids, right? And all the other occult rituals that they're performing, part of that magic is allowing it to be in plain sight. So when it's in plain sight, that's part of the energy that they're getting off of because they're showing you what they're doing, but you're not catching them and they're still allowing them to finish the rituals.
I would have an argument against that.
Please.
And we're going to go a little bit over time. We're not going to go too far over time. We're going to go a little bit over time because there's a few more things I want to bring up. But I would argue that that's not the fucking case at all. And hear me out on this because it takes a couple points to get to this. Beginning of fucking time or whatever, God made the heaven and the earth and he made humans. And he also made other shit out there that look like humans. We're all in his image, right? But because of the nature of the universe, there are other things that fucking naturally evolved. However, these other things that naturally evolved, they have sentience, but they don't have souls. However, there isn't just a heaven and hell. There's a heaven, there's a hell, there's a purgatory, there's your fucking gates of Elysium or what the fuck ever. And these other things that are out there, they...
Yeah, but hold on. Is heaven a place or is it a vibrational state that you evolve to? You lower your vibrational state and go to something, or you higher a vibrational state and go to something else.
No, you have a soul. Like humanoids have souls. Things that God made in His image have souls. Hold on, hear me out.
Okay, please.
Having that soul enables you to get to an afterlife, different fucking plane. Now, if you naturally evolved out of some primordial soup on some planet that God didn't make you, you die, lights off. You're just fucking chemicals, right? So these other fucking things from other fucking planets are finding humanoid planets and they are devouring human souls, or whether or not they're actually devouring them or not, they think they are as part of their religion to get to an afterlife. Even if they only go to fucking purgatory, that's better than lights out when you die.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I think that is part of like how hell was created too, right? So like when you've got these ancient civilizations, right, that are trying to figure out how to evolve, right? Are you looking for a beer? You got no beer left?
That's my lighter. I have all my. I know where my beer is. I'm listening. I have headphones on.
So I think what it is that that's how the rumors of hell have been created, right? So like, all right, so you have these angels that come from the sky, right, which are really just interdimensional, higher vibrational beings that come down to this lower civilization of humanoids, right, that are who we are, right? And if you take the reptilians, for instance, right, so reptilians come down, reptile people, right, and they go into these caves, and now they're living in these caves, and then they're taking people from civilization and then pulling them in the caves and torturing them, right? And there's hell and fire and brimstone because they need to make the cave warm so that they can survive, and that's how folklore starts, and people start to create these different elements of, oh, I was in hell and then I came back, but really they were just being tortured by people that were coming down and being like, oh shit, a planet, cool, never been here before. Oh my god, look at them, they only they've got 2 arms and 2 legs, but like us, but they've got this big organ around their entire orifice.
well, the other thing though is we've been anatomically human for fucking 200,000 years or fucking some shit, but like we only started writing shit down 10,000 years ago.
Yeah,
we have a lot of fucking memory before that. That was
the Sumerians were not the first culture to exist.
No, they were just they weren't even the first people to write shit down. They were just the first people that wrote shit down that is still around now, so we can look back at it.
And they also wrote shit down and had all 9 planets in the solar system. They also, like the Egyptians,
had Eros, which is a fucking like mile-long asteroid in the fucking belt.
How the fuck do you have that, right? Like, and like they've also, like, my favorite is like when you go back and you look at the Egyptians and they've got like these like 10-foot lizard people sitting in chairs and everyone is bowing down in front of them, and it's like, ladies and gentlemen, obviously there was somebody here that was like taking advantage of the the fact that they had little to no language and were very unintelligent and could just rule these people, which is how all the gold stuff goes into thing, right? So gold is the Sitchin stuff is gold is fuel. And that's why gold is worth something, because gold was such a commodity that wasn't available in other worlds, and they came to Earth and found out where it was, and they utilized the gold to travel.
Well, the thing with that though is gold is actually extremely useful in a
if you like
advanced society. Gold was functionally useless 100 years ago.
Yeah, well, they were saying there. So you want to go down some fun, crazy shit? Check out. There's a guy named Bashar, right? His name is Yep, his name is Daryl Acna. So Daryl Acna, he basically can connect with this extraterrestrial, call it higher dimensional civilization, and Bashar is the guy that comes through with him. And Bashar talks about how gold is actually like a healing power, and if you spray it like chemtrails, like they do in the air, and the gold comes down, it actually helps the earth kind of renovate itself and come back to life, and it's like a nutrient that the earth utilizes, because it's also a fuel. I mean, I think it is. I mean, why else would silver and gold be some?
Because they're really good at fucking conducting electricity and are nothing less than valuable in anything you need to fucking move ones and zeros around. Which again goes to my thing. Before 100 years ago, actually, I won't even say that. I want to say before like 1960, maybe the mid 50s. Functionally, gold is worthless. And then once we figured out, oh shit, we can like use this as wire or as conductors.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden, and a lot of people think too that the sun is a portal because it's just a big ball of light. So why would it not be able to travel on the gold, run through the sun, and then go from different dimension to dimension?
Yeah. All right. Well,
that's fun. That's fun shit right there.
That is fun shit. All right. So I got two more I want to get down to.
All right, let's do it.
Low. Next one is Charles Manson was an MK Ultra fucking experiment gone wrong.
Oh yeah, MK Ultra.
Can you do this in under 2 minutes?
Yeah. So MK Ultra is fascinating, and like Charles Manson is good, but Charles Manson was also a lot of drugs. If you really want to go into the MK Ultra, you got to go. I think his name is Duncan O'Finian. So Duncan O'Finian did an interview with Project Camelot many years ago, and it's basically about him being a Jason Bourne. He was operated on and had a bunch of different chips inside his system, and basically the chips would block out certain pathways to his memories so that he couldn't remember, and then tones and frequencies would then alter him to be able to fly an airplane. And he got into a car accident and it fucked up all the chips, and he started remembering shit that he did that he didn't know he did. It's fascinating. If you don't know about Project Camelot is fantastic. They interview a lot of whistleblowers, conspiracy people that have been in the hole for many, many years. And if you're looking to expand your rabbit hole mind, check out them. Carrie's awesome. She does a great job.
All right. Well, I got one more. Bigfoot is an interdimensional being.
All right. So there is so the Bigfoot stuff is crazy, right? So Bigfoot is more of a definitely a higher vibrational being that coexists in this third dimensional reality, right? And if you watch a lot of the footage that people have, they are definitely way more intelligent than you think. And there's a woman that actually can communicate with them. And there's a whole amazing video of a woman that speaks to these people, and these Bigfoots they had like a house, kind of like a fort, underneath the water, and they destroyed their house and then came into their home because they destroyed their house. They flooded it, and she goes through how she's able to communicate with the big feats.
All right. Well, fucking on that though, fucking I want to thank you for being here. We have to do this again. We have to do this again. This is good talk.
Let's end it on Bigfoot's house getting flooded.
All right, yeah, dude, you and me, we have to do this again. Also, I want to say fucking what's up to Ronnie and Nate for fucking sticking out for this whole time. And I'll catch y'all, everybody, on the flip side.
Hey, thanks.